Good evening. Welcome everyone to ERL tonight, tier number 2 for obviously Miami for the second race around Miami, of course, this week. And well, we've got a 18 car grid, of course, as you can see, with plenty of drivers, and yeah, of course, hopefully it'll be a good race to watch this evening. In terms of the championship, I'll just give you a quick rundown on the top 5 then. So we got, obviously, nice job, currently your championship leader by 10 points. Then it's Danny Van Rooten in second, followed by Oscar, then Vigo fourth, and then Strikey is in fifth. However, there is a 76-point gap separating first and fifth, and a 14-point gap separating our top 3 at the moment. In terms of the constructors, well, it's currently Mercedes leading the charge over the McLaren with 248 compared to 171. Then a lot further back we have AlphaTauri, who are quite close, lead chased by obviously Aston Martin on 104, and then of course Williams with 97. So those are your top 5 in each of the standings after the Belgium Grand Prix, and of course, well, how things are going to proceed here, we're just going to have to wait and see. However, just a quick observation. I see there is no Danny Van Rooten tonight, not that I can see. Looks like he has not attended this event. Whether or not he shows up a little bit later, we'll have to wait and see on that. Sometimes drivers might show up late, I'm not entirely sure if that is the case. And also, no Oscar, I don't think, if I'm correct in saying. So, this is a big then week for Nice Job to lay down a bit of a fingerprint, a bigger fingerprint already, what he's got on this championship over then his main championship rivals. Of course, then tonight, the closest rival to Nice Job, if I'm correct in saying, would be Vigo. So, yeah, Vigo does look like he is then going to be the closest rival to Nice Job in the championship. Of course, we do have plenty rounds to go. Still got Saudi, Italy, Qatar, Italy again, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. So plenty of races still left to run in this season. However, well, this could be a big turning point for Nice Job because it does allow him to build out potentially a race lead worth a point over his championship rivals if he scores, I think, probably about 20, dare I say. So yeah, going into the break that we have next week, I believe it is, then of course this would allow him to open up a slender championship lead over his rivals. So Charlie Harris beginning his lap then here. Let's see what he can do then tonight then in the well, the Aston, of course. So round turn 1 into 2 through 3, keeps the car stuck on the right, brushing the wall almost as we go into 4, 5, then 6. 6 and 7 is this long swooping left-hander, and it tightens up on the exit at 7, and then down the main back straight, which isn't really straight, of course, got a few twists and bends. Open up with DRS, then as you can see, the teammate of Charlie, Vigo, giving his teammate a bit of a slipstream then there. How much of an advantage that gives him into a heavy braking point of obviously turn 8 through 9 and 10. Again, a bit like, obviously, the corner in 6 and 7. Then into the Mickey Mouse chicanes, of course, of, I think that's 12, 13 and 14. Then down the next straight, another DRS opportunity, another opportunity to steal a bit of slipstream off your rivals, which Charlie Harris certainly was chasing for there. As head down, then the straight, pick your braking point, turn the car in, round the final corners, and you come past the Miami Dolphin Hard Rock Stadium on the right, and crosses the line now, and it's a 128-1 to set the benchmark for this qualifying here in the first few minutes of qualifying around this circuit. Here comes Neil to the line. Going across the line now, is about a second off the pace. So next up we've got Tiny, as Dude Lee goes on to provisional pole. So Dude Lee sets a new benchmark of a 27.3. Here comes then Tiny to the line. What can he do in that? Williams goes P4. So next up we're going to go back, I think, to... who are we going to go to next? I think we'll go then to CPI Matthias. Of course, one of the quicker drivers, probably with good chance of taking a victory tonight. Every time I've seen him race in ERL, I believe he's won, so 100% win record. Well, when I've seen him race at least, and does a purple middle sector, so let's see what he can do then here in ERL for this race, then around this Miami circuit. And of course, Miami isn't really a circuit we see much in Liga Racing, I don't think, so it's nice to see ERL selecting it on their calendar this season. Overall, their CPI Matthias goes on to provisional pole with a 1:26.8, so very good competitive lap time by him. Here comes Vigo now, one of the championship protagonists potentially this season, coming to cross the line now, 41 points behind, nice job. Currently though, only P9 for him with a 28.8, so not maybe the most competitive lap times overall. So let's go back to our championship leader now, who's completing the first sector, and let's see what he can do. So we're probably looking for about a 29 or a 28 first sector, and first sector by nice job was a 30.1, so that's probably not that great in all respects, but he is on a set of the mediums. Bear that in mind. That's probably another factor we need to take into consideration. So let's see what he can do on this set of mediums. So 30.1 from my experience of the other night would put him probably into the 28s, just about. Probably a 28.3, 28.4. That's where this lap is on course for at the moment. Let's see what his middle sector's saying. So it's a 22.7. So that's actually a good middle sector. Probably puts him a bit closer to that 28.3 of Tiny, I would say. Maybe a bit above that. Maybe actually closer to the Mac or Charlie overall. Rounding the final corner now for nice job then here. And he's going to come across the line any second now. Let's see where this lap time puts him. Puts him literally where I said, closer to the Mac and Charlie, and indeed it is. Ahead of the Mac only by a few thousandths of a second, but behind Charlie then here in this qualifying. But that's a good lap time on that medium compound. So far the quickest driver on the medium compound as of yet. 3 drivers have attempted it. Mafasa, Dean and Vigo. Dean currently is actually on an outlap, so I correct that mistake. Here's Piano Jam then on his first run. So let's see what he can do. Currently a 1:35, so that's probably into the higher end of the 1:28. Probably looking where Vigo's time is at the moment, or maybe closer to nil. So he's going to come into the final corner now. Let's see what he can do. Rounding the final corner. And what lap time is this going to give him? It's a 29.9. So puts him below nil actually by a couple of attempts. So here's Bouncy starting fresh lap. Just want to see if anyone else is on a lap. Don't think they are. So we'll see what Bouncy then can do. Obviously, one of the 2 Alfa Romeo drivers here tonight haven't got quite a full grid, so we are missing, I believe, well, we're missing 1 Red Bull, by the looks of it, I think. 1 McLaren, no, we've got both McLarens. So, 1 Red Bull. Is it then just 1 Haas? Because I think we've got both Mercedes. Looks like it, yep. So, 1 Red Bull, 1 Haas missing from tonight's race, of course. Anyway, here's Bouncy coming towards the line. Not towards the line, towards the middle sector, sorry. So, into the middle sector Bounce he is, and into that Mickey Mouse chicane. Such a tricky, awkward chicane to get right, but it's a 1:04, so not a great lap this isn't emerging by Bouncy. Have to admit that. Bit off the pace at the moment compared to the rest. Good evening, Dave. Hope you're okay. Obviously, I need to stop spectating you. Well, to be fair, I haven't spectated you so far in this qualifying. And Valency crosses the line now and goes P13. So, decent-ish lap by him. I know, we got both Red Bulls. It's just one of the Red Bulls is currently watching the stream. I've actually just twigged onto that. We've got both the Red Bulls. Yeah. So, who are we missing then? Just one Haas, is it? I know, we got both Haas. God knows who we're missing. Clearly, if we've forgotten them, they cannot be relevant. Anyway, Dean is crossed the line now, and that's a great lap on a set of mediums. Is a bit later, though. Then, of course, what a nice job set his time on mediums. That's a lot later. It's about, well, 3-4 minutes, so the track has probably rubbered in a fair chunk at the moment compared to what it was a number of minutes ago. Here comes Enkosa to get his first lap time on the board, and only P15 for him. So, yeah, not the worst, not the best, but certainly we'll be looking to go quicker on that second attempt. Here's Gavi Pointon, I presume. Or Gavin Pointon. Presume, not really sure how that's, I'll just call him Gavin. So here's Gavin. That's a lot probably easier to call him. So one Ferrari and one AlphaTauri. Ah, cool, yep. Now I see it. Still, almost forgot. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, here's Gavin coming across the line and crosses the line now. It's a 1:30.1 for Gavin. So that puts him firmly at the back at the moment. I'm not sure if Charlie's on a lap. No, he's not. He's harvesting, so that's how we know he's not on a run. Here's then Dudele. Came across the line, goes a bit faster, was on a 26.8, now is on a 26.7. So let's see what Nice Job can do. And he's, of course, on now a set of the softs. Currently 2 tenths up. Not the greatest first sector again by Nice Job necessarily. Only finding 2 tenths there in that first sector, 29.8. So let's see how his second sector materializes. Maybe there's more time to be found in this second sector. It is, of course, I think the longer sector, or the longest sector on the track. So, therefore, you would assume, given it's the longest, more time. Brushing the wall, though, that's certainly not going to be good for his overall lap, but is still improving by about 4.5 tenths. Then, to the good then, for him. So, is going to come towards the final hairpin and turn now. If he does complete the lap, we'll still have time to get in another run. So we'll have to see if he does complete it or not, and is going to complete it. So he will have still time to get in a second second run on softs. And it's only a 1:27.6, so not the greatest. However, I suppose he doesn't have to worry too much because one of his main championship rivals isn't here. However, Vigo's done an excellent lap with a 1:27.1. 2 of his main championship rivals actually aren't here. So we are now getting closer to the end of qualifying. We're into the final 4 minutes. Here's Lewis G trying to attempt to lap then, but he's harvesting as well. So I presume given he's harvesting, this cannot be a push lap, and he would have been on a push, but probably made a mistake somewhere, and he peels off back into the pits. So pretty much we're going to have that obviously awkward phase again, where sort of like in that period where you got one driver or a series of drivers in the pit lane, and they're just gearing up for that final run. But we do have a flurry of cars actually back out onto the track. So we've got obviously Bouncy, Kosa, and Piano Jam all within close proximity to each other, all going for then another run, and also Robbo as well, just behind them. In fact, Neil's just about to begin a lap, so let's see where he can go. So first lap time or second lap time, whichever one it was, but nonetheless was on a 29.0, so let's see what we can do in this final run of his, and it will be his final run. We'll not probably have time to set another lap here in qualifying. So how much time can he find if he wants to move up the order? Currently would need about 9/10 of a second to jump Damac, who's currently sat P12 on this current grid with a 28.2, and right now Neil for the first sector, only down on his previous best lap time. So let's see what he can do maybe in the middle. Let's see if he can find time there, as he will continue to push on. And well, now into that middle sector, this is where this is probably where the car feels at its complete worst overall. Very clumsy and very heavy to turn. As you can see, brushes the wall and is about 86 thousandths down, but that brush of wall probably puts him a little bit even more down on his time. So I don't think we're going to see an improvement here from Neil. So I'm going to assume he's not going to improve, and we're going to go back to Bouncy, who is actually improving, but is running extremely low on his ERS charge, already down to about 11%. So how has he lost that much ERS within the first, not even half a lap, but is 1.1 seconds up currently? That would put him above Neil, and Neil did actually go quicker, did a 28.89. So yeah, did go marginally faster, Neil did, but didn't do anything mega to improve. But here is Bouncy, and he's definitely improving. Comes across the line, goes 14th, but doesn't go any higher. Here's Piano Jam then. Crosses the line, goes into 13th with a 28.6. There's Kosa crossing the line now on a 29.1. Unfortunately, Gavin has retired, and that's going to potentially affect Robbo there. I'm not entirely sure if it did or it didn't. It looks like Robbo's anyway on a recharge lap, so I think he must have made a mistake. Right, let's see where everyone is. So, championship leaders currently on an out lap. Here is Leeds. He's there. I think Vigo is on out lap, and Matthias is coming into then that Mickey Mouse chicane. Currently, actually, Leeds is then a few tenths down, or seconds down. So we'll follow Matthews then here. Sorry for flicking through them, just wanted to establish who is where. So Matthias currently is 32 thousandths down on his own time, it's saying, but we saw obviously Neil, he was apparently down on his own time, gained a bit of time in the final sector, so can obviously Matthias do the same? Currently he is about a tenth and a half, or a tenth, sorry, behind pole position, so would only need to find just under a tenth to go on to provisional pole. Can he do it? The answer is no, just misses out by about 40 thousandths of a second then here. So, who is next? Where's Dude Lee? Dude Lee is currently completing the first sector. So, we'll go then back to Dean. And Dean had an excellent debut in Belgium. Would have probably been on course for a top 4, I think it was. But unfortunately, retired. So let's see what Dean can do here in his second ever ERL qualifying. And he's going to come across the line now. And currently sat 7th. Can he move himself up the order? The answer is yes. Moves himself up into P6. So who is our next person that we should be watching? I think right now it's very tough to pick between Vigo and Nice Job, but we'll select Vigo for now. Vigo improving. How about Nice Job? Is he improving? Yes, he is. Nice Job's up by 3/10, and he's going to get quite a nice actual slipstream down this back straight off the Aston Martin potentially. So here is Vigo. He's going to cross the line, and we can literally watch both laps at once. Oh no, we can't, because Vigo had other ideas. So here comes Nice Job to the line, and going to cross the line and moves himself up nicely into P5. Currently, then Leeds is down. Duday Lee's invalidated. So that is then qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, for this race. And Duday Lee is then your pole sitter for today's Grand Prix around Miami at the Hard Rock Stadium. Well, I suppose, Dave, at least the commentator's curse wasn't with you. Clearly, it was with Vigo there, as we rode on board with him. Probably a cursed mistake, that was. Soon as I ride on board with anyone, bang, boom, they're in the barrier. Still, decent qualifying overall. Jamie Connor, sorry, not O'Connor, Connor. I done a better lap yesterday in Iron Tier. You mean Monday, I presume, but yeah, no, for sure. Unless you had a practice yesterday, is what I'm thinking. Anyway, qualifying results. So, Duday Lee takes Norway to the top, followed by CPI Matthias, only 51 thousandths separating the two Norwegians. Then in third we have Vigo, fourth is Robbo, and fifth is Nice Job, your championship leader. Then in sixth we have Leeds, seventh Tiny, eighth Dean, ninth Charlie, 10th Lewis, Piers in 11th, then Damac in 12th, Piano Jam in 13th, Neil 14th, Valency is in 15th, Kosa is in 16th, Gavin is in 17th, and with no set time, we have Mufasa, of course. So that is your grid lineup then for this Miami race around Florida at the Hard Rock Stadium. And we will now go into what is a 29 lap race. And hopefully it'll be as good as Monday, because I thought Monday's Grand Prix was actually quite a good one. With, I think we had about 2 safety cars or 3 safety cars, but it was a good race overall, with plenty of action all the way through. So, of course, Dave did predict earlier Robbo or Dean for, I think, victory tonight. So, of course, with Robbo or Dean, well, pressure's on from Dave to win tonight's race. However, my prediction, I'm going to be a bit different to him, and I'm going to say Vigo. I'm going to back Vigo's corner, who's starting, I believe, is it third or fourth? I think it's third or fourth. Then, anyway, why have we got no graphics on the left? I have absolutely no idea. We do now, and it's lights out then, and away we go for round number 6 here at Miami, and it's an okay start by your race leader, but as they come into turn 1, sort of get a Constantina effect, I think that was the right word, anyway, regardless whether it was or wasn't. Duday Lee manages to hold on to his lead from Vigo, who's made up one position on Matthias. then it is then Matthias obviously third. Nice job, also up by 1. And Robbo managing to gain, I think, a position here on the race start as well. Tiny up then the order. Mufasa at the back of the grid also gaining a few as well from the drivers at the back of them there. He had actually great pace on Monday, so let's see how he progresses. And here goes Lewis down the inside of Dean. Dean obviously on the outside and on the harder compound, but he's still there, and they still battling then through this Mickey Mouse sort of sector of track. And in the end, Lewis having the inside line, but skips over the curb. That's going to allow Dean to kind of come back immediately then on the chicane, and it is going to be Dean managing just to hold off then Lewis for now on that harder compound, of course. And we are going to now get up the compounds so we know what everyone's on. So the top 5 all on mediums, whilst Dean going for a bit of a different strategy, going for the hards. And obviously Lewis mediums, and the 2 cars behind Lewis of Leeds and Robbo going also for hards. And then to Mac down to Nil on mediums, then Costa hards. Then we got 2 behind Piers and Jam on mediums, and Piers also, well, a few cars actually coming into the pits already on lap 1, so that's a bit of an interesting call, but nonetheless they are in. Maybe due to a bit of wing damage, no idea really, but that's them cars making a bit of an early unexpected stop. That back 4 there, so them cars will lose a number of seconds in this race, of course, to the rivals ahead of them. So lap then 2. Currently, Dude Lee, your race leader. Vigo third, Vigo third, Vigo second, then Matthias in third, your championship leader in fourth. And right now, look how close that these 3 are between them, including Dude Lee. He's not too far further up the road. DRS will be enabled at the end of this lap, going on to the next one, of course. Therefore, drivers within a second will get the benefit of having that extra straight line speed over the car and rival in front of them. Of course, whilst we do have a DRS train though, sort of neutralises it a little bit, but for Dude Lee, it won't neutralise it for him. So currently, then, the pace of 1:30.7, almost into the 1:29s, not too far out from that sort of time region overall. And bear in mind, these are full fuel tanks at the moment, so that's a really impressive pace. If we're already hitting into the 1:30.7s, I would have to say, very, very impressive. Of course, is a long way to go in this race, but first DRS then is going to be enabled, so let's see how effective it's going to be here. And can see the Ferrari driver of Matthias gaining on his Norwegian friend, but as they get to the braking point, doesn't manage to get any sort of overtake move done. Right now, Dude Lee currently leads, but second part then of this straight, and this could be a good opportunity to get moved on. Does look like Matthias is a lot closer on this straight than he was on the previous straight. Does have the DRS, so is he going to be able to go for it? Dude Lee moves off the racing line, covers the inside, and Dude Lee manages to hold off then that for now. But it's going to be a lot closer once again down this straight as they'll head towards turn 1. However, this straight, bear in mind, is a lot shorter, and the DRS is going to therefore be a lot less effective, but he's in a good position so long he stays within this distance to get past on the next straight as we head on to lap 4 of the race. So I think we are going to see probably a change for the race leader very, very shortly here. But actually Dude Lee got the better turn and therefore got a little bit of a better exit. That might just help him defend then here as they head then down the straight into then the heavy hairpin or into the stadium section And by the time we get onto the brakes, it is going to be Matthias clearly ahead. And that is Matthias up into first place, taking the race lead. But now it'll be Lee's time to sit behind. And of course, then, well, at the moment, you would have to say top 4 running well, but Dean doing a very almighty fine job on those hard tyres. Still within 8/10 of the car ahead of him, so he's keeping within touch and bound of the race leaders. He is at the moment, you'd have to say. Right now, no one's really going for any crazy moves either. You know, however, having said crazy moves, Mafasa's made a move and up into P16. So, lap number 5, Lee retakes the race lead, but it is CPI Matthias behind once more, and these two are just going to continue to fight it out then over the next however many laps before their pit stop phase kicks in. So, again, Matthias close enough, be in that DRS range, and we'll have the benefit of using some of that ERS maybe and DRS to help him get the move done here. Gonna this time go for the inside line, and again gonna win out due to that DRS, an extra straight line speed. However, oh, big slide by Matthias there on the entry to that chicane. That's only going to allow Lee to have a good opportunity to come back and retake the lead himself down this straight once more, because this is, I believe, where he got it done the previous time. And is he going to get it done this time? He's moving to the inside. He's going to have the inside then line here as they head into the hairpin, and yep, wins out again then here, as we can see Vigo all over the rear wheel of that Ferrari. So right now Vigo is in a good position here, because if something goes wrong between our top 2, they have a chance to, of course, you know, capitalise off that. Same with Nice Job and Dean, but this pace, I get the feeling, probably isn't that great for them overall, because Dean on the hard is really in the hunt here, and actually I think he's looking the prettiest at the moment, and in fact he's going for a move. Dean is, he's down the inside of Nice Job, your championship leader at the moment, and he's got the move done. P4 is his, but it's going to be Nice Job who's going to come back at the Red Bull driver. Rebel driver with the inside line for the next turn, of course. Rebel driver, if he can just hang it on the inside, potentially can secure this P4. Nice Job still, they're going to fight. They're still fighting away for a few corners more. And it is Dean who wins out then in the long run. And Dean up into 4th. Beautiful move by Dean to take P4 away. All started back at turn 7, but it all ended around turn 13 or 14. And that is Dean up into P4. So Dean up into 4th. Behind now Vigo. Vigo is the next driver. He's got to go and catch. Tiny in 6th currently. Behind him is Lewis. And Lewis then has a bit of a big gap back to the Mac and Leeds. And as the two Haas drivers fight between themselves. And there's been contact actually. It's Robbo and Leeds coming together. And I'm not sure if that's going to cause any sort of virtual or safety car. We have actually got a virtual safety car, but not for, I don't think, who you think it would have been. It's actually Kosa. He's out of the race. So I'm not sure how he DNF'd, but he is out. And therefore, this allows Robbo, well, a bit of a free and cheaper pit stop, effectively. He should rejoin, I think, ahead of the Williams, if this stop is clean. And he is going on to mediums, maybe just behind the Williams. Let's see. He's actually decided to retire. Okay, so that's him out of then the race himself, retiring in the pits. So that's then Robbo's race over, and that's now the 2nd retirement of the day. So lap 7 with a brief virtual safety car pause then here in the racing. But before that, of course, Dean did make that move on nice job. And CPI Mafius has been just hit with a drive-through penalty. That is absolutely devastating, but they're already going to go 3 wide. Vigo with the inside line. Vigo's going to take the race lead. Dean is going to come on through as well. So Dean is now up into 3rd place. He's having a look at going around the outside for then 2nd place. And that's Dean then up into 3rd. It's Duday Lee up into, well, down into 2nd, but he's not going to be in 2nd for long because Duday Lee is going to go down the inside at turn 1, going to take the position at turn 1. Vigo's forced off the road. Whether or not he will take the position off Vigo, looks like he's actually just given it back to be safe rather than sorry. That's fair enough for the Red Bull man there. In the end, Vigo did win out, I suppose, had the inside line, so therefore could theoretically dictate the racing line against Red Bull. But Dean looking very pretty here to go on and obviously maybe take the race win here. Obviously, Dave did say for victory Dean would win this one. So far, he's actually up into 3rd. Obviously, I put my money on Vigo, so let's see who's going to be right at the moment. Well, Vigo is ahead, but only by millimeters, by centimeters, you'd have to say. And not much between them, but Dean looking good, like he could be past any second now. But it's whether or not Vigo can keep up with Duday Lee. Of course, Duday Lee doesn't have the pressure of CPI Mafius anymore, so it's really just about what Vigo can do against the cars around him. And Vigo actually didn't get a great exit there, but it looks like he is going to potentially lose out then. P2, it looks like who can be later on the brakes into turn 1. It's going to be Dean later on the brakes into turn 1, and Dean takes then P2 away from the Aston Martin. And of course, Vigo now down into 3rd place then here at the Miami United States Grand Prix. But for Vigo, he is obviously, well, for Dean, he'll be absolutely loving life in P2 and gaining ever so slightly on the Alpine ahead of him. Does have the DRS on this lap just about, but that, well, does help him close up to the back. But of course, he's still got Vigo for company. Bear that in mind. Vigo is not going to go away. So lap the 9. Soon going to be lap 10. So Dean currently in the DRS range. Gonna have a quick look, see if there's any other battles going out on the track. Not many, if I'm being brutally honest. So currently top then 5 is the place to watch at the moment between all our drivers. This is right now the closest battle on the track, and I suppose the most important battle on the track. The battle for right now what is 1st place really here, split between 5 different cars. Overall, just to give you how close this top 5 is, 2.5 seconds splitting Tiny and Duday Lee. So that is the gap between them all. And Duday Lee actually made a mistake there into turn 7. This is going to allow Dean a good opportunity to close up and to strike. DRS activated. Here goes Duday Lee. Round the outside, can he? Not Duday Lee. Dean around the outside. No, not quite. Tried a little bit of a look for an attempted switchback, but not going to get that either. So he's just going to have to sit there then in P2 for now. But he's a lot closer, even on this straight, to the back of the Alpine driver, as there was a momentarily yellow flag in sector 1 for Gavin. Gavin having a moment. So here is Dean with the DRS. going to have the inside line, is going to be good on the brakes as well, and is going to take the race lead as they cross the line into lap 10. That is Dean up into P1 on lap 11, but Duday Lee's going to immediately come back at him with the DRS around the outside into turn 1. They're both respectful, give each other space. Duday Lee gets a snap of oversteer on the exit, and Dean is now officially your race leader. But as we see here, Nice Job is going to be trying to attempt to move around the outside of Vigo. Vigo manages to hold that one off for now. But for then, well, Dean, he is now your new race leader. And, well, for Duday Lee, how can he come back at the Red Bull? Of course, does have maybe the worst tyre as well. 4 tyre wear equally on now lap 11, of which it will be already run about 10 laps in this race. And bear in mind, we haven't had many safety car interventions. We've only had the one virtual safety car, which is hardly anything if we're being truthful and reflective upon it. Overall, that's more or less virtually, yeah, it's nothing at all really, a virtual safety car. But looks like Duday Lee still has good pace within those medium compound tyres, because he's actually coming back here ever so slightly at the Red Bull, use a bit of ERS, and is going to go down the inside on the Red Bull driver to take back his P1 spot that he's been so used to in this race. Qualified pole, currently leading the race, and is currently ahead of Dean. But Nice Job's actually darted off into the pits on lap 12, and I presume this will be for a set of the hards. It is a bit of an early stop though, I would have to say that, with over, I think, what, 15 laps to go? Obviously 15 laps on hards is doable, but it is early. But he is obviously feeling the undercut might be very, very powerful tool, and if it is, fair enough, I cannot blame him too much. However, I get the feeling that this will trigger now a flurry of pit stops in this race, because Duday Lee, Vigo and Tiny and, well, to some extent Lewis all know who that they were fighting. Here then go Dean down the inside. Dean has the inside line. Duday Lee will have the inside line for the next turn. Who's going to come out on top here? They trying to go into the chicane. That's obviously not going to be possible. But what is possible is one backs out and one did back out. Obviously that was Dean. Dean now will have a second opportunity at DRS down this straight within about 0.3 of a second. Vigo's also coming under pressure from Tiny. Tiny's going to make the move on Vigo, gets the move done. Dean down the inside. Dean doesn't quite get it on the brakes, but on the exit of the corner, he sure does. Goes through up into then P number 1 again. Dean takes then the race lead back as Tiny comes off into the pits. Now let's see where Tiny does come out, because that's going to be essential to how this race may play out. He was obviously in that chasing pack. Let's see how far behind Nice Job he now comes. Nice Job is currently 17.2 seconds behind your race leader. So there is Nice Job gone through. Here is Tiny, and what is the loss to Nice Job? And the loss, I'd have to say, is about 1.5 seconds. So that's a big loss actually for for Tiny there. In fact, about 2 seconds overall. So yeah, Nice Job definitely going to be within the undercut range when the race leaders come back out and back into this race lead. That Nice Job might be now your new net race leader. I was going to say let race leader, that wouldn't make sense, but yeah, net race leader is now probably Nice Job, who's 15.4 seconds adrift of this battle as it currently stands, and closing up to the back of the Mac very, very quickly. Duday Lee is going to fight back here then, and going to go down the inside, and this could be a critical move actually for Vigo and for Duday Lee, because if they choose to come in now, which one of them does, again, that could be very, very fundamental for the outcome of this race for them and for himself. So Duday Lee into the pits Now let's see where Dude Lee comes out quickly. So on goes the hards. I think that's hards. It is hards. So nice job, sets the new fastest lap of the race. But there goes their nice job. He's already into turn 1, going through turn 1. Tiny's also gone past, so Tiny's got the undercut to work there too. And Tiny is going to come out, well, roughly about a second ahead of then Do-Day Lee. And Do-Day Lee now has about 4-5 seconds to make up to nice job as Charlie Harris has spun, he's hit the wall, and that's a virtual safety car. Now that could really shake this race up because, well, a virtual safety car is probably the best time when you can make your pit stop. Now for nice job, he's obviously currently 17 seconds behind under this virtual safety car. So Vigo has a brilliant opportunity here to get in, get out on a new set of tyres, but same with also Dean. Dean has a great chance here as well to now put on that medium. Of course, medium and hard probably could both go to the end of the race. Certainly. We've seen pretty even tyre wear from them, by the looks of it, and we've also not just seen pretty even tyre wear, but we've also seen a pretty even pace by that tyre, by both tyres. But let's see what they do. So are they both going to come in? Yes, they are. You bet they are. And in comes then Vigo and Dean into the pits here. So they won't lose as much time as they would have if this wasn't a VSC. But it is a VSC, and therefore they're going to only lose half the time they would under normal safety car circumstances. Oh, and actually, sorry, my apologies, it is a safety car. So, actually, it's been escalated from a virtual to a full, which I hardly even realised. I thought we were on a full safety car, a virtual safety car. So, no, it is a full safety car. But interestingly, Tiny's actually managed to jump then the Dean and split then them two, at least. But Vigo is now officially your race leader on lap 15 of this race. So, race is about to resume as safety car is going to be in this lap. And Vigo obviously controls the pace, and Vigo is therefore going to restart this race. So, how is things going to line up? Of course, under that safety car, did allow them all bunch up again, and therefore Mafasa's probably the biggest winner out of this, or maybe Gavin and those that weren't having such a great race, but we are gone now, back to the racing, and not a great actual restart by Vigo, but he has got away just well enough to defend that lead into turn 1. Under braking, Tiny closes up ever so slightly, almost running into the rear of the Aston. But he's going to be the one under pressure. So it looks like he's under pressure from Dean here for what is second place. Allowing Vigo ever so slightly to stretch his legs. Bit of a wobble by. Then obviously Tiny, but that has affected actually Dean, and Dean went into the barrier. I'm not sure if Dean's got any sort of damage to that Red Bull, but if he does, then of course Dean is going to be in trouble for the rest of this lap because it's a long way back to the pits, but it looks like he defends on the inside and manages to get the car slowed down and turned in well. But if there is damage to that Red Bull, probably won't affect him for this first sector, but probably be through the right-handers where he will lose out. So we're just going to ride on board with Dean for a short while just to see if he does have a bit of understeer in the car, but nonetheless he's going for an overtake. He's got the overtake done, and I suppose that is a message sent to Tiny. Thank you for the wall moment. I suppose breezed past Tiny, didn't even think or blink twice about it, but let's see how he can do and get back into this race fight against obviously Vigo. Let's see, does he have a bit of understeer? Maybe a little bit, nothing notable. And we've got a safety car. So safety car number 2 of the day has been deployed, and well, I do wonder, will we see anyone come in for set of the softs? But this is good for the medium runners actually, such as obviously those that put on a new set of mediums under the last safety car, because they will hardly use their tyres and therefore be saving their tyres right until the end. So, under this safety car, we've seen Vigo, Tiny, and Neil all come into the pits. Also, Charlie Harris and Matthias have come in, choosing to stay out. Obviously, Dean, nice job, all staying out. So, those drivers not coming in. Now, I just want to quickly check something. Just want to check what tyres Nice Job's used. Nice Job has used both sets. Just want to check that because I thought he started on mediums. He did start on mediums. Apparently went to the hards and then has pitted for a set of mediums again at some point, which I've obviously missed. But yeah, he's obviously come in for mediums and for not bad option, I suppose. Oh yeah, he pitted for mediums under the last safety car, but yeah, still. So he is now currently championship leader and highest place in the race. Behind just Dean, who's a bit higher up, of course. So, safety car is back in then at the end of this lap, and oh, that's Mufasa out of the race. What has happened there? Yeah. Well, I suppose he can explore the beach. I've got nice beaches in Miami. It's unfortunate it hasn't caused another safety car. Oh well, still. We are going to go racing, and Dean in the other Red Bull leads us away back to the racing green, and he has restarted this race and successfully defended off then. Nice job for now. Vigo already making up a place on those new softs, and therefore gaining, well, a position back already. What he's lost, but out front, nice job, really pounding the back of Dean and into turn 7. Looks like nice job, really all over then the back of the Red Bull at the moment, and this could easily be the pass for the race lead that nice job has been looking for. So here goes a nice job down around the outside. He'll have the high ground for the next turn and for the turn that will follow that, of course. And nice job, gets the position off Dean. Dean down into P2, and Dean now behind the McLaren and the championship leader at the moment, of course. That is now Dean in second, but the Mac is going to be the corkscrew in the bottle for the cars behind, such as Lewis, and for Vigo. Vigo already up into 6th. Let's see how Vigo's progressing through the field. By the looks of it, Dean is closing in a little bit back on the race leader, as we see also 2 cars behind. Then it's Piers and obviously Tiny. Tiny around the outside of both. Tiny swoops around the outside up into 6th, taking his teammate and leads all in one foul goes. That is a beautiful move by him. But here goes Vigo going around the outside into turn 1, takes then Lewis then there for good measure. Mac then up into third. He'll be the next one that Vigo has to tick off, and then he can go chase after the two race leaders on those soft tyres. Of course, though, them softs will start to drop off sooner before the medium, but right now they'll be pretty good shape actually. Probably be in the best shape out of all the tyres so far on this track. So, yeah, Vigo going for the move and getting the move done. And got the move done, but there goes also, look at Tiny having a good run. No, sorry, not Tiny. Lewis having a good run. A little bit of contact between them on the entrance and exit. But Lewis takes move. Fair enough by him. And gets then up into fourth. So Vigo now up into third, but he is rapidly gaining on the two out in front, who are both on mediums right now, who are fighting away for this race lead at the moment. But Vigo coming like a steam engine train at the pair of them, and there is no slowing Vigo down at the moment. I did say he's going to win this race, and you know what? I'm going to double that and say he's definitely going to win this race. So if I'm wrong, Vigo can just say, Julian, why did you put your money on me? As nice job. Did he have a bit of a moment? Looks like he did. But looks like he done okay as well. But it is going to be pressure into turn 7, and he's going to get the move Vigo into turn 7. That's Vigo up into second, and beautiful move by Vigo to take them P2 in this race. DRS now active as well, so could he get 2 in 1 lap here? If he can, this will be for race lead, but having to go defensive at the moment into the next corner just to defend off, and we've got a safety car. Oh, that has changed the perspective of this race, hasn't it? Yeah, so Vigo's obviously coming for a new set, but does he stop again? Follow the race leaders in again, because I imagine we will see everyone in once more. Or does he go for track position? Personally, if I was Vigo, I don't know what I'd do. So, see, it's a really tough call actually now, because you've only had probably about 2 laps of racing out of them, in truth. Depends whether or not you feel you're fast enough to defend them off on the track. Of course, the drivers ahead are going to come in. We're going to see quite a large cars come in. Probably half the grid, but how many cars are going to stay out? That's also the other question, and that could be the essential part. Where do those cars that have pitted come out? And I think they're going to come all the way out in then 8th. Nice job, the highest then runner in 8th then here. And there won't be many laps of racing left actually by the time we get this race restarted, because I would say this race will get restarted on lap 26 of 29, at the end of 26. So that's my prediction for when we get this race restarted here. Or at the end of 25, one or the other. I think 26 is more realistic, because we've probably got to wait for Gavin to catch up. I know we don't. So actually 25 might be the more realistic one of the two. We'll have to wait and see, but still not many laps. It's only, how many laps? 5 laps, I think, racing will have left then, roughly, or 4 or 5 laps. So, yeah, it's not many laps. So, 26, 27, 28, 4 laps of racing to get, well, for nice job to get up to first place. It'll be essential for Vigo to pull out a gap, and it'll be essential for nice job to get through the cars as quickly as possible without having the delay. Right now, that's going to be the dynamic now of this race. Ericsson hit us, apparently, Dave says. What actually happened there? Because, yeah, you chose, obviously, a unique barrier at that straight. Like, I've never seen many drivers crash there if any? Like, obviously, you can tell us what that barrier is like. Is it a good barrier? You know, is that your new favourite barrier that you've crashed into this season? Um, I would like to know what that barrier feels like, at least. Actually, that probably don't tell me what the barrier feels like on the second thought of it. But yeah, you get the drift. um, that that was an unusual one. Out of all the ones you've done, that probably the most unusual. If I'm being completely honest. Yeah. Still, at least there's nice beach. You're in Miami. That's the positive. Nice beaches, plenty places to go. You know, you can enjoy. Like you can enjoy actually that fake harbour. That is a brilliant spot for you to go. The fake harbour. Do a bit of Craig swimming, if you know what I mean. What's his name? Craig Slanders, I think his name is, or Craig Sanders, whatever his name is. The Sky Sports journalist. I'm thinking of doing that fake swimming stroke thing in the harbour. That was pretty funny. Maybe you can go join him. No, I suppose down there. But yeah, that was a very unusual crash overall. Still, we've got 4 laps then of racing to come, and let's see what happens. So I presume safety car is going to be in this lap because obviously we are on lap 25 and therefore it is going to be in this lap. There we go. So let's have a quick look at penalties. Only a 3-second penalty for Matthias. Actually, penalties today been very good. I think they were also good here on Monday, if I remember rightly. Weren't many penalties Monday either. So, lap 25. We're going to go on to lap 26 and there'll be 4 laps of racing to run. Currently, Vigo ahead of Tiny, ahead of Piers. Then it's currently Aston Williams, or Mercedes powered, of course. Then Ferrari, Renault. Then Honda, Mercedes, Renault, Ferrari, Honda, Ferrari. Those are the power trains of the cars, of course. And we are now back to racing then, conditions. And look at nice job going down the inside, I think, of at least one of the cars that he needs to pass. And that's already the nice job up into 6th. But it's been a good restart by your race leader, leaving it as late as possible to the line. Then here, Piers already under pressure from Duday Lee goes on the inside. But also nice job taking the position off then Duday Lee as well. And takes then 5th place. But that, of course, is at least 2 cars out of Nice Job's way. He's going to be the main car probably to watch on this race restart because he's going to pose the biggest threat to at least 1st and 2nd, I would have to say. As Dean having a little attempt down the inside of Neil. Neil right now holding up the Red Bull driver of Dean here. And Dean right now probably getting a little bit frustrated. A yellow flag out then, and not sure who that is entirely for. But I don't think we're going to have any more safety cars at this point in the race, even though Lewis is officially retired from the session then here. And that is Lewis out of this race. Not sure actually he could have probably continued on, probably could have. But yeah, so next then, nice job making a move for 4th. And that's Tiny then. Big mistake by Tiny. Could be a costly error also for then the race leader who starts lap 27. 3 laps to go. He's currently only got 2 cars between himself and between obviously Nice Job at the moment. So if Nice Job clears these 2 cars, I think, you know what, both myself and Dave are going to be wrong because it's not going to be either of our predictions. It's going to be Nice Job, the championship leader at the moment, looking very good for this race win potentially here. As we see further back, big gaps emerge, or bigger gaps emerging. Also Dean up into 6th. but in clean air, so he's going to have to try and catch onto the back of then, obviously, this group. Oh, there's a nice job then up into third. So how does Vigo defend? Vigo's also really struggling on his tyres. It looks like CPI Mafias might be able to go on the attack here. And, well, CPI Mafias, could he become a factor in this battle for the race win? He's certainly going to go for it, certainly going to get it. And Nice Job's going to follow, surely, Matthias through. And that is going to be, then, Nice Job up into second place. But what will effectively be the race lead as we start lap 28. And Nice Job has now taken away this race lead. Off now Matthias as well. There we go. Lap then 28 at the beginning of it into turn 1. Is that going to be move complete? No. Matthias actually comes back. Sorry for selecting that camera. Almost went back to the wrong driver of Leeds. But yeah, Matthias come back there and got the position back off. Nice job, but I feel obviously it's only temporarily. However, Vigo's going to go back past, and Vigo's going to take then the race, well, P2 at least back for now. Vigo, though, made a little bit of a mistake out of turn 7, and therefore that's going to put slightly Nice Job on his tail as they head down the straight, but both with the DRS, both running a bit low on the battery packs. There goes then Do They Lead down the inside of both, made a very daring move, comes in between the pair of them, and is still holding on, still trying to battle with then Nice Job, probably really screaming at this, because this is not what Nice Job needs, this is far from what Nice Job needs. And yeah, Do They Lee, well, how much has he affected this race result? Because he might have actually given Vigo the race win here if, obviously, Vigo does remain within a second. We don't know also if CPI Matthias can appeal his 3-second penalty. But Do They Lee going down the inside. He's certainly not wanting the Nice Job to win it. He looks like going to fight all the way with their Nice Job to the line. And he keeps on lunging it down the inside at every opportunity. But the big news for now Do They Lee is he's no longer on the back of Vigo. Vigo has now managed to shake off the Alpine driver just for now. And this is going to allow then Nice Job back within striking distance of then the Aston Martin. So DRS is going to be enabled for Nice Job. Nice Job is going to have then another opportunity to get past the Aston Martin on this final lap here. It is Vigo out of battery, so he is blinking away at the back of the McLaren. Vigo, though, what can he do to defend on this final lap? He's not got much battery to play around with at all. It looks like he's struggling now also on his tyres as well for a large part. Kind of would need a Do They Lee moment to sort of help, but it's a bad exit actually for Nice Job out that corner, but still with a better tyre and with the tyre advantage, surely Nice Job is going to just blast past then the Aston Martin. He is going to do so with the DRS, with a bit more battery in hand, and it's Nice Job who will round the final corner, while CPI Mafias will take the race win on the track. Theoretically could appeal his 3 seconds potentially, but in the penalties, of course, he's going to be demoted down the order, down to 4th. Nice Job takes then the race victory. Vigo in 2nd. Do They Lee is 3rd. 4th, Matthias. Then 5th is Dean Penn. Then it is Tiny. Then 7th is going to be Piers. 8th, then Demac. 9th is Demac. Then it's 10th, Neil. And Leeds crosses the line in 11th. And finally, the Spin King himself, Charlie Harris, coming across the line now very, very shortly to complete today's race. Well, what a epic race that was, actually. From all our races there, cannot deny the racing for that race win was quite good, very, very good, and Nice Job takes then the race victory before I can't go through the order again. I'll just skip the podiums for now because that will happen Monday. Just couldn't go through it. Anyway, nice job. First, then Vigo second, third is Duday Lee, then fourth is obviously CPI Mathis with a 3 second, but maybe he'll be able to get that removed and therefore promoted back up into race victory. We'll have to see. Dean takes then fifth and fastest lap. Then sixth is Tiny. Seventh is Piano Jam. Eighth then is Piers. Ninth, Demac, 10th, Neil, and 11th is Leeds, and Charlie Harris completes today's finishing order. Unfortunately, those drivers that did not finish, we have then Kosa, Robbo, Voutsy, Mafasa, Gavin, and Lewis was the final non-finisher of today. So that has been your Miami United States Grand Prix here at the Hard Rock Stadium. And until the next time, I'll see you in a couple of weeks for the Iron Tier. And until then, have a great mid-season break, I suppose, and see you all next time for the season resumption, which will be round 7, and I believe it's Italy we're going to go racing next. So see you all then for the next race.